Last week we cut a few big holes in the boat, especially in the cockpit, to build a new hatch. This is going to be the fanciest hatch I've ever built, and I'm really excited to show you guys all the cool features that are involved in building a nice cockpit hatch.
My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home.
It's time to build this gutter for this hatch in the cockpit sole. I've got all the pieces cut out, and what I would like to do is glue the gutter together into one piece. It's going to go all the way around the perimeter of the hatch. And so I'd like to glue all four pieces together, and then I can take it out, take it back to the shop, and I can fiberglass together every corner and install the drains. There's going to be a little bit bigger corners in the aft corners for big drains to go. So it'll be a lot easier if I'm able to take the whole thing out, finish it in the shop, and then when I glue it in place, it'll be exactly the right shape. You know, I cut this hatch out to be rectangular. It's not exactly perfect, it's really close, but gluing it together in place and then being able to take it out guarantees me that I have built it in the right shape according to the hatch that I've cut out. So I love this kind of project. It's going to be very satisfying to get this thing put together. So we're going to get it done tonight. Cool. Last night we glued these gutter pieces together, so I'm going to pull this thing off. It's still going to be a little bit fragile because they're only glued together at the joints, but now I can take it to the shop and glass the whole thing together, add the little pieces that are going to go with it. It'll make this project a little bit easier.
So I'm watching you do all these pretty detailed fiddly projects, and I can't help but wonder, and I know a lot of our viewers are wondering this as well because it's probably the most common question we get asked in the comments. When is Duracell going to sail?
It'll be done when it's done.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Well, honestly, these fiddly projects I love very much, and it's one of the reasons that I'm doing this project is because I really enjoy making these detailed, functional parts of the boat and building this dream boat of mine. But I also really want to go sailing. So I'm torn between wanting to go sailing and wanting to work on the boat. And the nature of the project is going to change a lot, and I'm really looking forward to the upcoming projects as well. One thing that will change how fast the boat goes in the water is how well the YouTube channel does. The better it does, you know, maybe one day we could hire somebody, which would be amazing. We're not there yet, but, you know, maybe if the channel explodes, we can hire a person or two and the boat will get done faster. But I would really love the boat to be in the water sailing 3 years from now is what I'm shooting for.
And this isn't a complaint on my part because I really do love documenting this project. But I will say that when we first decided to take on Duracell, you told me it'll be tops 2 years. Just pointing it out, jogging your memory.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was extremely optimistic and
But we also didn't know how we were going to pay for it back then. And we thought we hadn't had the YouTube idea. The YouTube idea was just one of many ideas we had for how to actually afford this project.
yeah.
And we were imagining it to be more of a like quick and dirty, scrounging in the back of boatyards for half-used, epoxy containers and paint and doing it very cheaply. And then with our YouTube channel, it's allowed us to basically do it to a much higher standard. Thanks to our viewers and patrons, of course.
Yes, exactly.
Is it fair to say 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, I think 3 years is ambitious as enough.
Okay. All right, viewers, you can buckle up for another 3 years but not lamination. The project will change. Like
Oh
you
no,
said.
it's going to change a lot in the next 3 years. There's going to be so many different things we're going on.
We've got to install the mast.
Yeah,
hybrid
well, we got to
electric.
fix the mast. We got to do the keel, plus all the systems. We got to paint the boat. Got to make it look pretty on the interior and the exterior. Windows, propulsion.
I fantasize a lot about like when we're at the point of like choosing cushions to make
There you
it
go.
like a beautiful interior.
Mm-hmm.
What color will we want? That's a ways down the road.
Yep. This gutter piece is ready to get glued in, so all I'm going to do is put a bead of epoxy around the perimeter and stick it up to the underside of the deck here. Either later today or tomorrow, I'm going to glass the whole thing to the deck. I'm going to actually use carbon fiber on the inside, fiberglass tapes on the back side of it. You'll see when I'm doing that. Once I get this all put together, then I can start working on the hinges and getting the lid back on. This part is definitely coming together quick now. I made another set of carbon hinges for the hatch cover. I decided to glue in the carbon hinges for the cockpit hatch upside down and recessed into the deck. The cockpit is a high traffic area and I didn't want them to be a tripping hazard or at risk of being broken, so I cut a little template and routed out the shape of the hinge into the hatch so they'll be flush to the deck. I did the same on the boat side, but I had to use a die grinder because my router wouldn't fit up against the cockpit bench. finally, to seal up the foam around the perimeter of the hatch, I laid a tape of 6-ounce cloth, which will also give it some impact resistance. Here's the last of 3 hinges to install on this cockpit locker. So this hatch is a very tight fit. I'm going to try and open it for the first time. It might get stuck in a few places, so let's see if it opens.
It opened a little.
Yeah, it actually opened further than I thought it would. And it got stuck right where I also thought it would, which is on this bottom corner. And what I think I need to do is just put a nice big radius on this, I guess it's starboard side, bottom edge of the hatchet, so it has a little bit more room to clear the edge of the opening. So I've spent the last hour fiddling with this thing, specifically cleaning up the hinges. There's always a lot of glue that squirts into the actual hinge mechanism. And so I got that all cleaned up. I trimmed one little corner on the hatch itself, and so now it should open pretty nicely. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool indeed.
Yep. I'm going to have to come up with some device to keep this thing open. What I think is really cool about this hatch is it's super flush. So even the hinges were recessed into the deck, and they're upside down so that the hinge mechanism is down in the deck. And so I had to cut some channels and stuff. So there's a little channel on this side so I can get the pins in and out. All the other carbon hinges that I've done around the boat, they've been right side up, and so they're proud of the deck. This one is flush. There's no tripping hazards. I worry about breaking the hinges. In this case, I won't be able to break the hinges. So I think it's very, very cool. And I got the encouragement to do it this way from the comments. So thank you guys for that idea. Now the next thing to do is to build drains in the gutter that's underneath here. This cockpit is designed to evacuate water really quickly because there's an open transom. And so in the event, for instance, that we have a big pooping wave, a wave that comes over the transom and into the boat, the water should just fall straight back out. This hatch is the only thing that would let water down into the systems compartment that is below the deck here. And I've intentionally made the reveal around the hatch very small so that a minimum amount of water will fall through. And then the gutter inside is very big to hold a lot of water in case, somehow it fills up. There will be a gasket that seals the hatch against the gutter so that water can't fall. If the gutter fills up with water, the seal will keep the water from falling into the compartment, but water has to drain out, and it has to drain out very quickly. So we're going to install two very big drains so that the gutters will never fill up with water. All right, now the cockpit slopes aft as well as the gutters slope aft. And so I've made these little extra big pockets in the sides of the corners of the gutters on the aft side for these tubes to be installed. These are carbon tubes. The reason I have these is a friend gave them to me that he just had extra. And so what I'm going to do is use my hole saw to drill big holes into the gutter. The tubes will get glued in flush to the bottom of the gutter, and then these tubes will go out through the hull of the boat, and that way it will just be a straight shot. There will be no pumps, no valves, no plumbing. It's just a fiberglassed in tube that goes straight through the boat so that water can escape very quickly from the gutter. All right, number 2. All right, so this is very fun. This is one of those projects that just kind of became apparent that needed to happen as I was putting this gutter hatch drain attach mechanism together. And so I'm building a ladder out of the drain tubes that go down through the hole. And these are the steps. I just had some, scrap pieces of fiberglass, foam cord fiberglass that I had made up. And so I made these steps that are going to go between the ladder, or between the drain pipes, and make a perfect little ladder. So we're going to glue them in right now. They're just glued in now. I'll have to glass them in, but I think they're pretty cool. We have one new Patreon to thank this week, Thomas from Greece. He is learning to sail. He's gotten into it recently. He's doing all he can to crew on many different kinds of boats. He would really like to cross an ocean soon for the first time. But he's also into scuba diving and free diving. But he said he loves sailing because he's into fixing stuff. And that's one of the reasons that I really love sailing, is for not just to be good at sailing the boat, but also keeping the boat maintained. And so thank you very much to Thomas, and thank you very much to everybody who's been helping support our project.